Hey there, and welcome to the latest edition of USRA Coalition's Let's Talk About It. I'm your host, Mike Koth, and remember, Let's Talk About It is brought to you by the USRA Coalition. We do so in the name of awareness and in the name of prevention. The USRA Coalition is a partnership between the boroughs of Upper Saddle River and Allendale, New Jersey. Members consist of elected officials, parents, school administration, police, health professional, local businesses, clergy, and members of local community organizations. The mission of the USRA Coalition is to educate and create awareness in our communities to prevent and reduce substance abuse and other related health issues. And that brings us to today's guest. He's been on the job for 18 years, and in the last 16, he's been protecting and serving the community of Upper Saddle River. In that time, he served as a PBA State Delegate. He has served on the Bergen County Crisis Intervention Team, and most recently, as a DARE officer in Upper Saddle River Schools. He is Officer Anthony Pulizzano. Officer Pulizzano, thanks so much. Welcome to the program. How are you?
No problem. How you doing, sir?
Doing all right. Listen, let's not mince words here. It's got to be a really tough time these days to be a cop. You know, with everything going on, couple bad apples, paint everyone with a broad brush, and that can happen in any profession. It happens in education, police work, it can happen in finance. So my question to you is, how are you guys doing? How's everyone on the force?
We're doing well. We're doing well. We have the same concerns for ourselves and our families when it comes to COVID and stuff like that. Right now, with the climate the way it is, we're used to it. You know, unfortunately, we expect the worst and be able to deal with the worst. And it's just our job to be there and work through it, and that's what we're doing.
Well, we know for certain, although there are things out there that need to be addressed, and they will in time, and we'll work together towards them. But we know that we have good men and women like yourself that are, doing the right things in the right place and at the right time. So thank you for your service and everything you do for our community. I
appreciate that, and if you don't mind me adding, I think the people who have it the worst right now are teachers and school administrators, and you guys are doing an amazing job. And I truly feel like right now it's a thankless job that you guys are doing, and people have no idea. My wife's a teacher, and people have no idea how hard you guys are working, and you guys are just doing amazing things right now. So thank you, and thank your staff as well.
Oh, that's really kind of you to say. We're just we're trying to do our best like everyone else, but we're just the sum of the parts. We're only as good as the people who surround us. So we're very fortunate to be in a very supportive school community. But listen, let's talk about all the stuff that you're doing, all the good stuff in the school community. Please tell us about the DARE program at Upper Saddle River. What have you been doing there the past few years?
So the DARE program's great. I've been a DARE officer for about 3 years now, and it's probably one of the most rewarding parts of my career. I love working with the kids, and I think it's such an important aspect of a child's life, learning about making safe and responsible decisions, and learning about drugs and alcohol, and how, there's risks and consequences, and, things of that nature. So can't be going any better right now.
Great stuff. Well, I know you mentioned some of the topics that you're tackling, among them, drugs and alcohol. What are some other things you're talking about down in the middle schools and the elementary schools at Upper Saddle River?
So we're talking about drugs and alcohol. We started talking about vaping as well. Again, we talk about taking risks and what consequences come with taking risks, and the proper decision making, whether it comes to drugs and alcohol or just everyday life decisions, bullying, are being nice to your classmates and your friends and your family. We touch on all of that.
And in that, I know there are a multitude of activities. It's not just you standing up in front of the kids. You've gone on a number of trips and embarked upon a number of activities. Let everyone at home, what's going on? What are you guys doing?
Yeah, we do a lot of cool stuff. Last year, for the first time, we implemented a couple new things. The first thing that we implemented was a DARE class trip. We went to, I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. It's like an outdoor adventure course up in Sussex County in Vernon. They're called, I'm drawing a blank on the name right now.
Is that the tree escape one?
the tree escape at Mountain Creek. That was very good. This is why I need you here.
There you go.
So we went to Tree Escape, and it's an outdoor adventure course. And it brought together all the kids, and it was team bonding and building relationships and having a positive attitude, physical activity. It was an amazing day. All of the teachers, Principal Kaplan, some of the parents that came with us that day. It was just a great experience to see the kids working together to, get through some of the challenging courses. And, that was a huge part of the program that we hopefully we can continue doing. So that was one thing. Another thing that we did was pretty cool. So one of my best friends I grew up with, he's now an assistant principal up in Massachusetts. He started this foundation called Do Kind. And what it is they challenge a school to do 60 or 50 acts of kindness, right, in 24-hour period. And if you complete all those tasks, they'll make a donation to your school that you have to use for a certain program. So we did that because I like to go a little extreme. I had them we have 6 classes at the elementary school in 5th grade. So I had them add 10 acts of kindness. So we actually did 60 acts of kindness in 24 hours, and we won $500 that went to the Youth Guidance Council.
That's awesome.
And the fun part about it is you don't get your list until that morning, right before you're ready to start. So there's no pre-planning or anything like that. And it was all kinds of stuff that like kind acts that we did at school and also after school, where you had to do it with either your friends or your family, whether it was, making a donation to a charity or dropping off clothes to, a homeless shelter. Things of that nature was also added to it, as well as, drawing a nice picture for your teacher and telling someone, giving somebody a compliment, all kinds of things. So that was pretty awesome, and we hope to continue to do that as well.
Well, we hope you do as well. It's all great stuff. Well, listen, I'm sure it's not just activities that you do at the school, but to promote conversations that, talk about warning signs and consequences for kids, as you mentioned. One of the toughest things for a parent, and listen, I'm sure you know as well, talking to your kid about stuff like this. What can we tell parents to help facilitate a conversation about safety, whether it be safety with drugs or alcohol, or internet safety, or bullying, whatever it may be? How do we start that? What advice can you give to folks out there?
So my advice, and I apologize if I'm looking down right now, I'm just trying to lower my radios a little bit. My advice to parents would be, number one, don't worry about exposing your kids too early, because a lot of parents worry that kids are too young to learn about drugs and alcohol, and you don't want to put it in their heads too young. Kids are resilient. I think 5th grade is like 10, 11 years old is the perfect time to start teaching kids about it. And substance abuse is real, and there are lifelong implications, when it comes to substance abuse, and it's horrifying. I think the earlier we start getting in your kids' lives, the better off they're going to be. And it starts with prevention, supervise your kids, be more involved in their lives, ask them about their friends and their friends' families, know where they're going, know what kind of apps are on their phones and on their computers, what they're reading and what they're checking out. All of those things come into play, just asking how his day was, little things like that. You might pick up on some, behavioral issues that might pop up where you might say, what, something's off, and again, I just think that you can't start too early,
Listen, we all know drugs are bad for you, right? They're bad for your health. And things are bad for you. We want to warn our kids about, you tell them not to go near the stove. It's hot.
Exactly.
What's the difference? What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Now, most kids out there, and I'm sure you see it in the middle schools as well, a lot of kids have a phone out there. They need to know what that's about. They need to know what's going on. And oftentimes we hear at the school, it's an issue or a concern about trust between the parent and their child. And in your experience, have you found that it's the case if the parent's transparent with the kid that, hey, I'm going to look through your phone, I'm going to look through your text to make sure you're on the up and up, you're doing the right thing. Does that maintain trust within the home and maintain and build relationships rather than, tear them apart? What's your experience?
It's my opinion that the earlier you start that, the better the trust is going to be. If you start that too late after a kid's already gone down the wrong path, now that's going to turn into, the child not trusting the parent, child maybe hating or resenting the parent. But if you start that really early when they're young, it's going to be a normal routine in the household. That is checking your phone. That's just how it's going to be, and it'll be a normal thing. And again, parents got to be held accountable too. If there are parents out there, and we live in a great community, but listen, there are parents out there that you have to know that your kids are watching what you do. So you need to be careful where you leave your medications and stuff like that in your house. If you're drinking in front of your kids, have conversations with them, that it's okay for an adult to have, a couple beverages, but as long as I'm making safe and responsible decisions, it's okay for an adult to do it, not for a child to do it. Kids are very, receptive to that.
Well, very clear. Set expectations early. And we've said before in the program, bend the tree while it's young, because that's the way it's going to grow.
Exactly.
You don't want things to be too late. So great advice. Great advice, officer. Thank you. Shifting gears a little bit, your work and good deeds do not end at Upper Saddle River Schools. Tell us a little bit about the work you've done with the PBA and the Torch Run and Upper Saddle River Police's role in that. Okay,
so the Torch Run is it's run by the Special Olympics New Jersey, and we have a law enforcement aspect of it. And every year, I'm sure you know what it is, but the law enforcement Torch Run, there's 26 legs throughout the state of New Jersey. We're actually leg number 10. And in the morning, there's a torch that's lit. Ours starts in Oakland, and each police department runs that torch to the next town and passes off to the next police department. That goes on throughout the whole state, and they all combine they all come together down at the College of New Jersey, and this happens in June, and they have the opening ceremonies for the Special Olympics. When you see us running that day, and I know a lot of people get a little upset because the traffic patterns get on hold and whatnot, but all of the officers that you see running that day donate money, which goes to the Special Olympics. I got involved probably about 5-6 years ago because I found out that New Jersey is the only place in the world where our Special Olympic athletes don't pay a dime to compete in any of the games. It's all coming from donations. Once I heard that, that's when I got involved. I got our schools involved, and last year we had 300 kids run with us from Cavallini, Bogert, and Reynolds, and that's the most in the state. And we ended up we were the 7th police department out of over 300 when it came to donations for the Special Olympics.
That's awesome. All great stuff. Definitely a noble cause and a worthy effort on your part. And that's something that's done on an annual basis, correct?
Yeah, we do it every year. Every year in June. Obviously, this year was canceled in June. They pushed it back. We did a smaller version of it back in October, but it was minimal compared to what it normally is. And we're hoping to pick up and get back to normal back in June.
Well, I hope we all are. Hope we all are in a number of fronts. So
yeah, I hear
fingers crossed.
Yep.
All right, we're closing down to the end of the program, and you know what that means. It's time for 1st and 10. We got a series of 4 questions. We're going to fire them at you, and 3rd down. When it comes to 4th down, you can pick or stick. It's up to you. So are you ready to play? All right,
ready
listen, by the time this is going to be released around the holiday season, tell us, what's your favorite holiday movie?
My favorite holiday movie? Christmas Vacation.
Nothing better than the Griswold family.
Christmas Vacation. I mean, there's a bunch of good ones out there, but I got to be honest with you, that one's my favorite.
Yeah, it's the best. It stands the test of time. I have to admit, though, I've always been a Christmas Story kid growing up. I think I was called Ralphie at a certain point here or there, but that's another story altogether. We'll get into that later. But becoming more of an Elf guy. Like, kids love Elf. Big little Elf fan.
Elf is also fantastic. But when you're just going traditional, you can't go wrong. You know, you put that movie on and you're set.
All right. Awesome. All right. Hey, second down. Here we go. Listen, it's been a long day on the shift. Maybe you're working overtime. It's time to unwind, going home. What are you doing to relax? What sets you back and puts you at ease?
Well, I mean, nothing can put you more at ease than going home after a long, tough day to a 7-month-old baby and a 6-year-old boy that gets thrown at you as you walk in the door. But no, for me, something to relax me when I get home, besides eating a nice meal, I like to maybe hop on a treadmill or just go sit down, play a game of Mario Kart with my son because he really enjoys that, you know. And until I do that, he won't leave me alone. So I would say hopping on a treadmill or doing like a workout would put me the most at ease.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, we're making progress. We're getting there. Third and goal.
All right.
Third and goal. Ready to punch.
Third and goal. Third and goal. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to pay dirt. We're punching it in.
All right.
All right. So, who is your favorite all-time TV or movie cop?
Movie cop? Wow. I would say Bruce Willis has played a great cop in a couple movies. And there are a couple guys who come into mind, and I'm now going to be thinking about this the rest of the day. I just hope you know that.
These aren't layups. It's third and goal.
This is a very, very tough one. To be put on the spot, I'm going to say Bruce Willis.
All right. Okay. Detective John McClane. Does that count as a Christmas movie?
Yeah, and I have much more hair than John McClane, so I'm good to go. But I'm on the fence whether that's a Christmas movie or not.
Yeah, listen,
I don't know.
That's a separate. We cannot call that a Christmas movie. That was a quiz.
Yeah,
you passed.
Yeah, I don't either. So
we can't do that. And you listen. Also surprising, you struck me as a Buford T. Justice guy. So that's a good answer on your part. All right, here we go. It's fourth down. You kicking or sticking?
I'm going. Come on.
All right, we're going for it. If you had the ability to have dinner with anyone in the history of the world, sat down, had a meal, great conversation, who would it be?
Frank Sinatra.
Nice. That was a quick answer, too.
Frank Sinatra.
Oh, blue eyes.
He's my favorite. My second choice would have been Mark Messier because I'm a huge Messier New York Rangers fan. And that list is really, really long. But Frank Sinatra would be my go-to.
All right. Hey, great pick. Listen, thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you to the Upper Saddle River Police Department and also to Upper Saddle River Schools for everything they do and integrating you in the DARE program. Thank you goes out to the Allendale Police Department as well. But we really appreciate your time today and joining us and sharing your expertise. Officer Anthony Pulizzano.
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you to the USRA for getting this program up and running. It's such a great program, and you're doing an awesome job.
All right. Well, thanks again for all the kind words. That's all the time we have today. And again, remember, USRA coalitions, let's talk about it. It's all about pulling up the seat, sitting at the table, and having those tough conversations. Because with everything around us, texting, technology, our phones, sometimes the art of conversation is lost. So pull up a chair, sit at the table. Because remember, if you're not at the table, you could be on the menu. That's all for this time, folks. We'll see you next time. Take care and stay safe.